Hari Om, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 8. Kshetra Kshetranya Vibhaga Yoga. In the last verse, Bhagavan gave some values of life to be practiced for experiencing the self. Bhagavan said, Hey Arjuna, practice humility, unpretentiousness, ahimsa, forgiveness, straightforwardness, service to the Guru, purity, steadfastness, and self control. So these are the values given by Bhagwan Krishna. Verse 8. Indriyarteshu vairagyam anagankara eva cha janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam. Bhagavan says, Indriyarteshu vairagyam. That is, in 21st century, according to me, vairagyam is extremely difficult. So, it is not easy. It can be easily said, but difficult to practice. Not impossible. How desire comes was explained by Bhagavan in chapter 2, verses 62 and 63. Bhagavan said, Dhyayato vishayan pumsagam sangateshu bhajayate sangat sanjayate kamagam कामात् क्रोधो विजायते क्रोधोत् क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. Already Bhagavan said this beautifully. When a man thinks of objects, you see an object, then you think about it. Attachment comes. From attachment, desire is born. Unfulfilled desire results in anger. From anger, delusion comes. From delusion, loss of memory. From loss of memory, discrimination in intellect is destroyed. Our discriminatory intellect is destroyed. Then that man naturally perishes. Beautifully said by Bhagavan in verses 62 and 63 of chapter 2. Now, in this century, even if you don't want to get out of the house and see the objects of this world, the sense objects come and dances before your eyes, tempting you to yield to them. For example, the other day I was looking for a shoe to buy online. Then I decided not to buy because it was very costly. After I get out of that site, whenever I open the laptop, then immediately, whenever I open any site, first thing that is shown is the shoes come and dances before me. You buy me, you buy me. It tempts me. So, practicing Vairagya in 21st century, even if you want to forget it, it is not allowing. It is very difficult. But why Bhagavan says practice Vairagya with reference to sense objects? Indriyarteshu Vairagya. Adi Shankara in his Viveka Chudamani says, the deer, the elephant, the moth, the fish, and the honeybee, because of their attachment to only one of their senses, they get trapped and suffer. He pities the man who is falling a prey to all the five senses. For example, a deer is fascinated by the melodious sound. The hunter makes the particular sound and it falls into his trap, gets caught. Elephants are attached to the sense of touch. With a female elephant, it walks around and falls into the pit and get caught. Moth is attracted by fire. It falls into it and gets burnt. Fish, attracted to the small prey, gets caught. So man has weakness towards all the senses and hence he suffers a lot. Adi Shankara goes to the extent of saying that sense objects are even more venomous than the cobra poison. Cobra poison is fatal only when you are bitten by it or you swallow it. But the sense objects kill the person who even casually looks at them with his eyes. That is why Bhagavan says, Indriyarteshu Vairagya. But how to control this desire, which tempts us to a number of objects, n number of objects of this world? This has been already well explained by Kanchi Paramacharya, and given the entire explanation has been given while explaining chapter 6, verse 35. Hence, it need not be again repeated, the entire thing. The techniques are first Viveka, Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. That is discrimination. What is Nitya, what is Anitya. Then Vairagya. These two are important. In Vairagya, Adi Shankara already said, Yadaiva Kakavishtaya. When you are, I have, this has been already explained twice, I think. Yadaiva Kakavishtaya. When you go for a marriage, that is the open house marriage, under the trees, if richest man throws a party, and then you take all the food. Foods are n in number, any variety of foods. You take everything, and you are chit-chatting with your friends. Golden plate. It is not an ordinary plate. Adi Shankara himself says it is a golden plate. Wonderful dishes, and you are keeping it. And then when you are about to eat, suddenly a shit of a crow falls because it is sitting on the top of the tree waiting for some food. It shits on your plate. Will you take that food? That is what Adi Shankara says. Yadaiva Kakavishtaya. That type of Vairagya. It is only to, it is not aversion or hatred towards the food. You must develop that Vairagya. You should not fall a prey to the objects of this world. That is the idea behind it. So again I am saying chapter 6 verse 35. This has been explained. Then Anahankara. Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, this arrogance is born out of ignorance of the fact that everything we have is given to us. We all think, I bought this flat, I only did this, you don't say how from the poorest family I came. You know about me? We all say this. Everybody says this. But Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, it is because of the ignorance of the fact that everything we have is given to us, including this body. What we have accomplished is really nothing. When this is understood, the pride in us will automatically vanish. This is anahankara. He says, lack of thinking, that alone makes a person proud. With little understanding, each one can appreciate that everything is given, and when he appreciates this, he will be left with a sense of wonder. Take anything you have, just see. Is it because of you you earned it, or it was given by Bhagwan Krishna? Just think, anything you have. Adi Shankara says in his Viveka Chudamani that ego, identifying with the body, becomes the doer or experiencer. When the sense objects are conducive, then naturally we get a happiness. When they are not conducive, then misery comes. This ego suffers happiness and misery. Continuous process. Identifying with the ego, we suffer the same. Ego is nothing but ahankara, which gives us the feeling of I and mine. That is what he says in Viveka Chudamani. Then Krishna says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. That is, our attachment with the objects of this world or ego is only through this body. See, whatever we say, whatever we are thinking, without this body, simply put, you are a ghost. I already said ghost cannot go to a bank and operate its fixed deposit. I'm sorry to be very crude in this. It is Atma actually, but for the simple understanding, without a body, there is absolutely no attachment with anything. If we closely examine this body, that is Anudarshanam, which means seeing clearly again and again. Closely watch the body. we can easily see that ego identifying with this body enjoys the gross objects. This is again said by Adi Shankara. Ego, identifying with this body, enjoys gross objects such as garlands, sandal paste, women, and an endless variety of objects and beings by means of the sense organs. So it is your attachment with the ego through body. Ego gets attached with the body and enjoys all this. But this body, if you closely look into it, Anudarshanam, is subject to birth, decay, death, and so on. It is subject to a variety of diseases. This body is nothing but a seat of diseases. Bhagavan himself says it is a dukkha alaya. This world is a dukkha alaya. This body is anitya. Man suffers these diseases, but is not living his attachment with the body. If one lives the attachment with the body, then naturally the attachment with the objects of the world and ego goes. One has to appreciate this body is nothing but anitya. It suffers a lot of diseases. So slowly, if you leave the attachment with the body, naturally you will leave the attachment to the world of objects and the ego. That is why Bhagavan gives a technique, a small technique, to get detached from the objects of the world and ego by looking carefully into this diseased body and realize the truth. This is what this verse says. Verse 8 again.
Indriyarteshu vairagyam anagankara eva cha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam.
Next verse we will see tomorrow. Harihom Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu.
Narayana 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 Narayana